A very good morning and welcome to Biz Talks. I hope you're keeping well wherever you are. And welcome to the show. In the house today we have Brian Kiriba, the Chief Executive, Handers Juice Limited. And guess what? It's already on my desk. As you can see, I have Handers here. I'll be getting to know whether I am ready to partake, but you never know. But first, to welcome our guest, Brian. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here. And what an interesting conversation I'm looking forward to have with you, because I think you're a disruptor when I see what you have done. But first, before we get into that conversation, I just wanted to ask a question I like asking anybody here. When people ask, who is Brian Kiriba, who do you say you are?
The simplest answer, I'd say I'm just a person, who is focused and determined to make a difference and an impact in this life while I'm still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the simplest answer, I'd say.
I like that, and you're surely doing that. I think you should have added a word like disruption as well.
Yeah,
I
should have.
Man, so it's good to have you here. So
Pleasure's mine.
let's first of all talk about this product. I can't wait to just jump into it. That's why. So Brian is behind this Handers. I don't know whether you guys know it, but I'm sure if you don't know now, you just sit back, relax. Looks like a very nice juice, but we'll be getting to know more about it. First of all, tell us about Handers. What is it?
Well, Handers is basically it's juice that's made from jaba. For those who don't know what jaba is mogoka, which is scientifically the plant is known as Capa edulis, but there's different types. There's mira and there's jaba, which are different species of the same plant.
So hold on. So mira and jaba or mogoka. I think that's the most common one.
Yeah, mogoka.
Yes. You're saying they are different?
They're the same but different.
Okay.
In the sense where, for example, you might have avocados from this area compared to avocados from a different area. One is bigger, one is smaller, or a different type. Yeah. But in reality, they're the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So please correct me if I'm wrong. So I have some java here. I have some mogoka here, but in liquefied form, right?
In liquid form.
What I'm thinking, and that's why I call you a disruptor, is what you're making is just a simpler way of taking it. Instead of all those guys who have to squeeze in out that juice, you've squeezed it out for them, right?
Exactly. Well, this one's made a bit differently.
Okay.
With these ones are distilled. So we make them in two ways. There's the cold press and there's the distilled version, which I guess I can dive into detail more in the future. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it's basically I wouldn't say just an easier way to get the desired effect, but I'll say it's also it's different in some way. It's not exactly the same as chewing.
As chewing.
Yeah.
It has probably better benefits.
Yeah. It has its benefits, and it's different in some way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's difficult to explain. I'm sure chewers will tell you, chewing there's nothing that compares to chewing. So, yeah. Okay. Because that's just their way of life. That's what they've been doing for centuries, actually. And they say, taksin ni sherehe. Yes. So this is different kidogo from that. It gets the same desired effect, but it's somewhat different.
So I think what you're saying is, for you to know that difference, taste it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like that. So I have to demystify something, because when we hear about guys who are taking jaba or mogoka, there's sort of like a perception that it's just immediately created,
Yeah.
Like maybe because most of the people interacted with this either by seeing crazy pickups going at crazy speeds to deliver be it mira or jaba.
Yeah.
Or they have seen guys who are, especially touts, are most common because they always have that nice paper. I'm just talking about my experience.
Yeah, I understand.
Where they're just dipping some leaves out and all that. It feels like it's something out of, for guys who are not supposed to be proper, if I may use that word. However, you see it as a serious economy in a whole county in this country, especially Meru. And when the supply is interrupted by a second, whole ecosystem is affected.
Yeah.
That means there are countries that embrace this very well. It's part of their life. How have you come out to really beat these stereotypes of, hey, this is not just anything or what you're thinking, or just, mess out that perception?
Well, a couple of ways. First, if I was to answer, because I know you didn't really ask this question, but just you mentioned how the pickup trucks, they drive super fast to bring the Mirai and Java to Nairobi or whatever the case.
Yeah.
Now, the reason that is, if you're curious, is because the active ingredient in Java is called it's cathinone, and it's a very unique plant in the sense that after 48 hours it becomes a different component, and that the cathinone is what the people desire, which is why they rush it as quickly as possible, because as soon as it's plucked, it starts to oxidize, and then the cathinone transforms into a different compound. So yeah,
I didn't know that. I mean, that's
good most knowledge, people man. Don't know.
So no wonder they move.
That's why, because they have to, because cathinone is significantly more desired than caffeine, which is what it deteriorates into. Yeah. Which is it's getting into the science of it, but that's exactly why they go as fast as possible to deliver. Okay. Now, in terms of the stereotype and the perception, what I would say is it's similar to two things that have happened in history. For example, with caffeine, is kind of similar to what this does, in the sense that it gives you energy, it keeps you up, it keeps you alert. It gets you to focus and work or whatever you're doing, or just to focus and chat. And for those who party, it keeps the party going and the night going, because it affects your sleep, so you can go on for longer. And yeah, it's a stimulant at the end of the day, just like coffee, just like a lot of other substances. And the purpose of it is, just like I said, it's a pick you up. So what we're trying to do is not only change the image, in the sense like remove the negative perception, because it's difficult, I'm not going to lie. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, most of our customers are not what you would assume or what you would expect. Yeah. Like me, for example, I'm not a chewer. Yeah. And a lot of people who buy are not chewers. Yeah. They're just looking for something that can give them an edge. Okay. And then what we're trying to do is also value addition, because the market or the industry per se hasn't changed for centuries. It's always been, here's the leaf, you chew it. Yeah. And like I was comparing to caffeine, with coffee beans, it was the same thing at one point. Here's the leaf, you chew it, but then it evolved as it entered into different markets. Yeah. And I feel like it's only eventual that the same thing could happen to one of our cash crops, which is Mirai and Jaba. To value addition and hopefully be able to package it and present it to even other areas that might be interested, and other countries who might find an interest in it. And just grow the industry as much as possible.
No, you're right, and I like the way you've put it across that, listen, this is just like any other cash crop that evolved to value addition, because what we have with Java and the Mirai is, or Cart, is similar. I mean, this is a cash crop as well, to the economy. So, and I like how you're demystifying this, and I like the honesty as well, that listen, this is a stimulant as well for guys to keep going, like many others that people take. Others will say, I am for the beer, others are for the wine, others could be for the Java. Let's call it as it is now, for the handlers, right? Yeah. And well, as long as you don't overdo, right? There must be a place like that, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, too much of anything is poison. Yeah, right. So like, one thing I will say, I'll just mention some of the side effects. So for example, it suppresses your appetite. I mean, to some people that's not a side effect, but to others it might be, because when you're...
To others, they might need that.
yeah. Because there are actually some people internationally who sell it as a slimming tea. So yeah, but that's a story for another thing. So yeah, it suppresses your appetite. It affects your sleep. It gives you insomnia. Like for example, if you're drinking at night, you probably will not be able to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people who are used to it who might, but most people, even including myself, like if I'm drinking, I have to stop at like 9 p.m. if I want to sleep by midnight, for example.
Okay.
So yeah, there's that, and also it can be addictive to those who have an addictive personality.
Okay.
You know, in the sense where if you have dependency issues, where you know you just feel down every day, or whatever the case, and you need a substance to get you going, and then you keep on indulging in this, it can become addictive in that sense.
Okay.
But the studies show that, you know, it's not as addictive as one may assume in terms of other stronger substances. But nonetheless, yes, it does have addictive properties if you have that type of personality.
Just like many other stimulants.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there are guys who can't do without a cup of tea much.
Exactly.
I mean, that's their unlocking. That's the word they use, lock or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell me this. I'm curious about the process because I think from what you're narrating, we see these guys going very fast because there's something they're preserving, so that within those particular hours, it's consumed and the desired effect is achieved.
Yeah.
But you've managed to bottle this Java into a bottle. How are you containing this? Because I'm sure anybody who's partaking this or wants to partake this is looking for that effect. But now you have it on a bottle, and this can last. It has a shelf life, I believe. So what's the process like then?
Like I mentioned, remember when I said in the beginning, it's different from chewing. So the active ingredients, it's very unstable, the cathinone. So we have managed to preserve it, but not to its full extent, which is why you know, people who just love chewing, they'll still stick to that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so what we have done with our products is we've managed to actually preserve it to up to 3 months with this one, and then we have the cold pressed one, which unfortunately can only last up to for 4 days, because that one has a lot of organic material. So you know, the life and the organic, because it's basically, you know, you're squeezing the juice out. So there's a lot of biomaterial there that unfortunately cannot be killed. Now this one, it's distilled, so it's been taken through extremely high temperatures, and it's similar to how milk is pasteurized. You know, so it kills all the organic materials. And then we've also added some preservatives and whatever the case to extend the shelf life as much as possible.
Just like many other beverages that we take.
Exactly. But to go a bit deeper into it, the preservatives are not harmful to us in any way. Yeah, they're organically made in nature. Like one of the preservatives we use is ascorbic acid, and ascorbic acid is actually, it's vitamin C. So yeah.
No, makes sense. And I think we have seen that, and I think you have labeled that what has been used here as well.
But not on this one though.
Not on this one.
We labeled that on the glass bottles.
Yeah. All right. I'm curious to know how the reception has been for you and your experience, because as I keep telling you, you're a disruptor. I mean, you're trying to bring in something that has, over years, people have a perception about. So how has the reception been of your product? Yes.
Well, when we started, it was great actually. You know, a lot of people, like the one thing I've learned about the Kenyan market is Kenyans like something new. You know, which is why I guess clubs close and open up every day. Anything new and interesting, Kenyans will always love. So when we started, it was great. The reception was great. Everyone was just interested in trying and purchasing it. And then as time went on, that's when you know, competition started to pop up. You know, a lot of, over the years, I'd say a lot of other
so hold
people.
up, so the other guys already who have started.
Yeah. I mean, we've given them the blueprint. You know what I'm saying. So, and Kenyans, how can I explain without saying it in a negative way?
They like to copy.
Yeah, they unfortunately have the habit of, you know, when you see your neighbor doing something for themselves, instead of wanting to, you know, help and support them, you'd rather want to do the same thing. And assume it's that easy.
Which is quite unfortunate because they end up actually, if you don't have that originality, chances are that your survival is limited.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but in my opinion, I feel like it's a great thing because I love competition, and I feel like without it, I wouldn't be able to innovate and change and be up to date as much as possible because it keeps you on your toes, and without it, I feel like we'd have the first product we had, which it was still good, but it's not at the level as we are at right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Challenges that you've been facing, of course, apart from guys who are just picking up what you're trying and going and mixing up things. What are some others?
I mean, when it comes to disrupting anything, you're going to face a lot of challenges. So there was the fact that we're changing the norm. A lot of people were also against it. Also, for example, when we post on social media, sometimes a lot of people from Meru, they will comment and say, "I'm actually offended by this." And on top of that, though, of course, there's the legal issues, like for example, with KEBS, there's no standardization for this product, so they simply do not know what to do with it whatsoever, and it's.
No, I'm more curious about that. So, have you tried to reach out to them?
Yeah, I've actually been working with them. They've done the lab tests, they've done a lot of the reports, a lot of the studies. We've even done independent lab tests and reports to try and share with them and coordinate with them. But the simple fact that there's no standardization, they don't know how to label it as, is what has been the problem with them. However, like I said, it's something they're working on, and I'm sure sooner or later it's going to be done. I'd estimate that this year it's going to be done.
That means that gives you some serious challenges in terms of distribution.
Yes. A lot of challenges, actually. But like I said, at the end of the day, people like they're not going to stop if they like the product. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you manage to create a product that people love and like, it doesn't matter whatever the case is. If it's a good product and the market loves it, they'll find a way to attain it.
You're right. In fact, someone said that if you know what you're given is good, and the government of the day or the people in charge of registrations are not yet figuring themselves up, you just keep going. They will figure themselves up on the go.
Yeah.
Because the people will demand that we need this product.
Exactly. And demand will always dictate where the market will go. And on top of that, also, we've also been working with KRA, and surprisingly, they've been very helpful. Because they understand the value, and they see the potential. So all in all, some good news, I believe, is going to come this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you set up a place? I'm sure where you're doing all this packaging and. May I call it the squeezing?
Yeah. So the main location is in Langata, where we do the production. We do the bottling there as well, but we also do a bottling at Roysambu. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about the cost, because let me first of all just say what I'm thinking. For you to squeeze in this amount of juice out, I'm sure it's quite a bunch that you have done that. But anyway, that's just my layman thinking. But tell me about it and the last cost that you sell this. Yeah. Okay,
so in retail, we retail that at 300 at the moment.
300. Okay.
Yeah, and that's because, like I mentioned, we've been doing this since late 2019. So it's taken us a lot of time to try and figure out what works and what doesn't work and things of that sort. And me, with my experience in other ventures in the past, we managed to cut costs as much as possible to be able to standardize it and do it at a large scale. So the highest cost, at least for us, it's not even the raw material; it's actually the labor. Yeah, that's the highest cost, and then the material comes next.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want me to give you a detailed breakdown, it costs around, for this bottle to be produced, it costs around 100 shillings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I get it. Wow. Now I'm going to take you back a little because you're not a chewer, but you saw this. So Was it a gap that you saw and you're trying to solve a problem, or what made you think, okay, I can think of how to bottle this up?
Yeah, I mean, when I came back to Kenya, after I was living in the States before, I was looking for something to do, you know, and the one thing I was doing, it was I wanted to make alcohol. I wanted to make gin because I knew how to make the gin already, with the good flavors and whatnot. And I saw at that time was when gin was picking up in Kenya. So I was like, it's perfect timing. Let me just buy the machinery, you know, and get into it. I don't think it's going to be that hard. And that's where I was very wrong. It was very difficult in the sense of the governing in Kenya. You know, for you to be an alcohol manufacturer, you basically need to be a billionaire with a lot of connections per se. So faced with those difficulties, I had to pivot into other things, and at that time was when with COVID was starting. So I got into some small things here and there. I was importing masks. I was importing thermometers, the laser ones. And then all of a sudden there was an issue with importing things from China. And another thing happened. Once again, you have to be a billionaire. Remember, there were planes that were coming with large amounts and they were stolen, or whatever the case. So another thing that again happened that just chopped off the small guys. So then I remember my friend, who was my partner at that time, was an avid chewer, and I could never understand how, you know, he would leave us where we are. For example, like we could be at a good place having a good time. You know, it's an environment where any normal person would want to be there. But for some reason, this person would rather be somewhere else, just chewing. So one day I was like, you know what? Let me see what this is all about. So I went with him to his cafes where he's chewing, you know, and I was just studying, you know, seeing the interactions they were having, you know, and it was people from all walks of lives, you know, who have they don't know each other at all, but that the chewing, for example, and they talk as if they've known each other for centuries, you know, for their whole lives. So all in all, I tried to chew as well. I despised it. Because it was cutting me, it was messing up my tongue, it didn't taste good, and you know there's a technique to chewing that unfortunately I didn't know and understand at that time, and once I pushed and I managed to get the desired effects, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I see there's something here, but I still don't see to go through all that to get this was worth it, in my opinion. You know, everyone is entitled to their opinion. So I was like, there has to be a better way to attain this desired effect. And that's when I started experimenting. And like I said, I was already I already had the machines for manufacturing alcohol. And I already knew how to make some beverages. So I just experimented and, you know, to see what I can do, did some research. And yeah, here's where we are.
I just like the narration. It's very, I can see that base, because I see pockets of those bases sometimes on the go as you go around.
Exactly. I was baffled. I was baffled, to say the least, because it's very interesting.
That qualifies why I'm calling you a disruptor, because one of the ways in which, businesses are generated, it's either you're going to improve a process or make it easier for people. And the fact that you felt this is too crazy to just get this out, and we have this solution. And that's how just business is created.
Exactly.
So do you have people working with you? Have you employed some guys on this?
Yeah. We currently have a total of 11 employees.
Wow.
That's
good.
Yeah.
That's good. The government needs to just clap for you, man, because the potential it has if they legalize this.
A lot, tremendous.
Right?
I mean, you know, to give you some numbers, you know, it's not only in Kenya that we indulge in Mirao, Jaba, whatever the case. It's in I think all of East Africa except for TZ, but also it's in Arabic in countries in Arab. It's called the Arabian peninsula.
Yes, peninsula.
And also in Israel, they indulge in it, and they've also experimented with it in Israel and other areas. And like in Yemen, for example, 20% of their water supply goes into growing jaba, but their version of it. So like I said, it's a material that has a lot of potential, and I just wish they give us the opportunity to dive in it and learn it and just try to evolve it into something more for the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the product. Where can people get it? Maybe somebody's already saying, I have to taste this. So where can they get it?
So they can order online through any of our socials or through Hustle
they
Sasa.
go and check out on Handas?
Yeah, Handas Juice.
Yeah.
Through any of our socials, through Hustle Sasa, through Glovo, or they're able to give us a call, which they can find online as well. Then we also sell it at a couple of locations around Nairobi. Also in Coast, we sell in Diani, and we're also in Eldoret. We're starting up. So yeah, it's as long as you Google us, you'll be able to find us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your network is really growing. Let me ask you then. You have had your share of lessons as a businessman in this country. And I'm sure there are 1 or 2, 3 things you can pick and say, man, if you're thinking business in this country, brace yourself for these particular things. What have been your key lessons just doing this that any other business person thinking of starting up can learn?
I mean, the main thing I'd say, to be honest, it's two things. It's discipline and commitment. The importance of that, because at the end of the day, it's, in my opinion, I feel as though it's business is easy, in my opinion. I feel like to create something and sell and whatever the case, it's pretty easy because everyone has something that they're pretty good at.
Yeah.
So the hard part is being able to sustain that into a business and grow it and scale it into something big, and that. For me, the difficulty was lying in discipline, where I wasn't able to. There were too many distractions, and at sometimes I would get like I was lazy or I wasn't able to do things here and there. But I learned that if you could really focus on what you're doing and cut yourself off from distractions, be it friends, be it whatever the case, for just a short amount of time, I'd say at least a year. And just focus on your craft and making a good product and pushing it and learning, acquiring as many skills as possible, then the sky's the limit, in my opinion.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good lessons. Let me get some questions the guys are asking. One of it is, what are some of the challenges you faced here in Kenya compared to other countries? I think you've touched on that, but if you have something else to add, you could touch on that. Is there anything else you could say?
Yeah. Surprisingly, the governing in Kenya is more difficult than what I experienced in the States. Because in the States, I started a couple of businesses, and it was easier to get things off the ground. It was easier to grab a market in terms of advertising or whatever the case. Like it was easy to go from nothing to something. And I feel like over here, once you have a product, no matter how innovative it is, no matter how good it is, the governing side can step on you kidogo.
Do you feel like it's too much legislations, or what is it?
Yeah, but at the same time, I understand why. In Kenya, we've had a history of a lot of bad products or fake products or whatever the case that unfortunately have messed a lot of people up. So we have a fear of anything new and anything that does not seem to be, at a significant size, like from a large factory or whatever the case. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. But like I said, I feel like the governing in Kenya can step on you kidogo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question on YouTube. The world, I think it's a comment. The world is desperately in need for innovators like you, scientist plus businessman.
Thank you.
Eyes pink, heart shape. I don't know whether that's the name or what is it. I'm just reading how it is. So I think this is someone who's really just giving you a thumbs up for what you're doing. So there's a question.
Thank you.
How are you participating in promoting healthy intake of the product?
Healthy intake of the product.
Yes.
So what we try and focus on is educating you about the product, so you know what you're indulging in. You know the benefits, you know the side effects, you know exactly where it's coming from, you know what's involved in it. You know, we try and if you see on our socials, for example, we have a series called on YouTube and on Instagram called Facts About Java that I guarantee you didn't know. So we have part 1, part 2, part 3, all the way. I think we've reached part 5 or 4 now, if I'm not mistaken, where we simply just take the time to educate you on not only the product that we're making, but also the components that go into it.
Okay.
So and that's where also I've noticed that the world is going into. You know, if you see, you know, the YouTubes and the TikToks and Instagram. Yes, at first we used to everyone used to want entertainment and the dances, but now education is where the I don't know what to call it, but it's where the world is getting into. So we've been trying to focus on educating people because, like I said, it's a new product. People don't know about it, and even if it's not your thing and you don't like it, at least you'll leave knowing something that you didn't know before.
Yeah, I'm trying to think with you because the potential this has, as you've said, is quite huge. And the fact that, let me just take a different type of drink. The beer companies of today are some of the companies that are recording, you know, record billions of profits because of what they're doing. And they as well, if you overdo, it's a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, so they have regulations and they are also mandated to say that this is a drink. But is this a plus 18 kind of thing?
I see what you're saying.
Yes.
So, okay, so for us, yes, we recommend it to be plus 18.
Okay.
But you cannot compare it to alcohol.
It's crazy. Alcohol is crazy.
Yeah, because, you know, it's like with alcohol, for example, you know, it gets you intoxicated. This doesn't get you intoxicated.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, it's a stimulant. You know, like coffee, for example. You know, if you drink a whole lot of coffee, it's not like you're gonna, you know, which is exactly why there are people who chew for hours or people who can chew for a whole day.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not possible to compare it to alcohol because alcohol is an intoxicating product, whereas this is not the same. I think you just have to experience it to understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's far from the same.
How many sips do I need to take to feel something?
So we have 2 types. Like with that one, it's light because I figured you never have tried it before, so I wanted to bring something more light. Yeah. So for you, I say a couple of sips and you'll probably feel something.
Will I have to pay for this because I'm
No.
okay.
Of
Just
course
checking,
not.
just checking so I can see whether I have some money. Guys,
Well,
I'm
you have a
about to
nice
see-
shirt, so I should charge you.
No, I'll give you the link. I'll give you the link to where you can get it. Yeah.
Okay.
This is job I'm taking. It's my first time, man.
Really, it's the first time for everything.
Gosh, I'm feeling it. Anyway, just tastes like juice. I can feel a crazy difference. Sort of like I'm taking some fruity juice. I can't tell what fruit. Yeah, I thought I would be feeling some crazy taste. It's actually nice to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the idea, right?
Exactly. You know, it's
But this I think it's more decent. I think this is more decent because let me just give you my perception. Maybe I'm one of the people who needs to be converted. Those guys who chew, you see them, you even feel like you can give them a hanky. What's up? Just wipe yourself a bit, man.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of this.
Okay. So from that one small sip,
Yeah.
what and the perception which you had before,
Yeah.
what do you think now?
No, I just feel like I'm having just a normal like a passion juice. Yeah. That's why I said maybe I'll give feedback after a full bottle is down and see whether I'll be more alert.
So you definitely will. You definitely will.
Yeah, because I feel like I should take another now.
Go ahead.
Right.
It's yours.
I should be taking the same now.
It's yours.
Guys. Anyway, just checking. There's one guy there who's just worried.
And
whether
that's
I'm
no. You like trust me.
I'm just kidding on this.
Nothing crazy is gonna happen, and that's the shocking part that you know that people always they go through. They expect one thing, then they try it, and they're like, oh, it's just juice.
Yeah, it feels like juice.
Yeah, and that's it. It's just juice, but with some stimulative aspects to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to do? I'm looking at you like this, hoping to feel anything, but there's nothing yet.
No.
But anyway, no worries. You have definitely a lot of people who contribute to having this product on the table, and looking at the farmers and all that. And there could be a farmer somewhere and say, "Hey, man, I'm growing this. So how can I reach out to you? Do you need my product?" What's your message to them?
Well, as it stands right now, the person that we have a deal with, it's a great deal. Okay. So I doubt that, you know. I mean, it's possible.
Maybe with demand, you might.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me not say no. It's possible, but yeah, the deal that we currently have right now, it's pretty good. But at the end of the day, if you reach out to us, like I said, if you Google us, you'll find our number, you'll find all our details. You know, just reach out with a message or a call, and yeah, we'll definitely talk and see what we can do. Because at the end of the day, like there's a lot that can be done with this product, and I just feel like once people are able to catch on to it, then we can take things to the next level. Yeah. For everyone, for not just us, but also the growers and the farmers and whatnot. Yeah.
So one quick question: someone is asking, "Are you making money?"
In what sense?
I don't know. Maybe you're a businessman.
Yeah.
The bottom line is to make something. So
Yeah. We're making something.
You don't have to say the figures, but hey, he's making money. Stop this. Someone is saying, but if the demand is not as much, that you have only one person in the supply chain, but is it that the demand is not that much? Or maybe I don't know. I think, but you get the question. Someone is trying to say, the reason why probably you have that one person is because maybe the demand is not too much, or is it that maybe you have a big farmer?
Now, this person is not a farmer. He's a trader. Yeah, so he sources from farmers and then he sells to me. Yeah, so.
No, I see that.
Yeah, the scalability is high because I just felt like us, we want to focus on doing a product, a great product. He focuses on sourcing and making sure the raw material is right. And it makes our life easier, which is why I was saying the deal we currently have is pretty good.
No, I like that. You're also creating employment for the middle guys there.
Yeah.
And sometimes your focus is product and you're getting good quality of things.
Exactly.
We have to come to a close in this conversation, but I am really intrigued by what you're doing. Just looking through it, so we are just hoping that KEBS can speed up their things so that at least nobody will ask those questions.
They will.
And you've said online people can get you, right?
Yeah.
I can see your social handles as well here, Handa's Juice. So guys can just go to Handa's Juice and get it.
Correct.
I'm trying to read through to see whether there's anything else. Juice from Java. That's so cool. All right. So finally, I think your parting shot is what I want to get.
My what? I'm sorry.
Parting shot. That's what I want to get. But before I get there, there's another thing that has popped up here. Question: how about investors? Are you looking for investors?
Yeah, we have actually been in talks with investors. There's a couple of things we're working on that I don't want to get too deep
details
into.
There. Don't mention names now.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's a potential one watching, are you willing to listen?
Of course. I mean, I'd be very naive at best and stupid at worst if I wasn't to listen to anyone interested in taking things to the next level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your export market, are you looking at it?
Definitely.
Any leadways?
There's talks, but unfortunately we still have to tackle the KEBS issue first before moving forward. But yeah, there's talks. There's talks. There's interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm trying to see through any other questions that I have. I don't know what it means, but I'll ask you as it is. Are you with any BMO, and how can they help?
What do you mean by BMO?
I don't know if it's a board of whatever this is. I think it's organizations like, Association of Manufacturers.
I see. No, unfortunately not. Like I said, our focus is
business membership organizations. They have just implied that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, our focus has just been on trying to create a great product and put it in the market and try and get the required assets to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, if there's something out there that can help us take things to the next level, I'm more than willing to sit down and talk and listen and see how we can help the industry in Kenya, because like I keep on emphasizing on this, their potential is tremendous.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're young, and there's so many young guys thinking, wow, this guy just decided to start things up like this, and he's moving. That's enough encouragement. What would be your word to young budding entrepreneurs with ideas?
My main thing would be, whatever you have in your head, whatever vision, whatever idea, no matter how crazy it may sound, just try it out, just do it, because at the end of the day, doing it is what's going to determine whether it has a customer base or it's going to work or not. And also, if it doesn't work, there's always skills and knowledge you learn from it. Because in my experience, for example, like I said, there's a lot of businesses that I've done in the past.
Yeah.
And some of them were very successful until some things happened and then it got messed up, and some of them were not successful. But nonetheless, out of all my ventures in the past, I learned a whole lot of things that have put me in a position where I will be okay for the rest of my life as long as I have these skills. I'm able to, even if this product was not there, I will still be able to do something else with the skill sets and the knowledge I've acquired over all the failures that I've had in the past. So yeah, whatever idea you may have in your head, whatever you want to do, just try it and do it. At best, it's going to work. At worst, it's going to fail, and you're going to learn a lot from it and do better next time.
Wow. My goodness, I love this, man. I appreciate you for coming, Brian.
Thank you.
And this is such an encouragement as well to people. I know I had told you to have a part in show. I don't know whether that was it, but part of it is just, that was purely for the young guys. What's your word for anybody who's watching? There could be government, anybody. I know you can pick many other things. What's your last word on this? Okay,
my word is, a lot of times in Africa, there's a lot of taboo when it comes to certain things. There's opinions that have been derived from a negative place that can unfortunately mess up innovation and ideas that are able to come out of the youth. So it doesn't have to be with our product. It can be with many other things, because there's a lot of innovative kids with ideas and visions, and unfortunately these perceptions and taboos can make things difficult for the young individual to try and innovate and disrupt the market, like you put it.
Yeah.
So all I'll say is, an open mind is valuable to everyone, because like with us, for example, like I said, Mira is a cash crop. Yes, there's some issues in terms of how it's governed and how it's supposed to be classified, but at the end of the day, it's a cash crop that's very that's bringing us a lot of revenue in Kenya.
Yeah.
So value addition and evolving it and making it into a product that is consumer friendly and a lot of people are able to indulge in it is best for everyone. You know what I'm saying? And not just for us. Like I said, there's a lot of other competition. There are people who are also getting into it. It's the same as how there's Coca-Cola, there's Pepsi, there's sort of, there's much of everything. And my goal is not only for this industry to be taken to the next level, but also for the young individuals who have ideas that they feel like the world will shun them, not the world per se, but Africans will shun them. For them to have, to know that it's possible for their crazy idea to get to the next level. Yeah.
Awesome, Brian. So this is mine. How best do you take it, with a glass or just straight from
just
the
like
bottle?
that. Just sip it, just like that. You can put it in a glass or you can drink it off the bottle.
Awesome.
That's why I brought the small one, so you can just have it with you. Yeah.
Guys, you're welcome as well to have some. I mean, the guys behind it anyway. So that's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Always a pleasure. And I'll be following you up to at least see the progress. I can't wait to see this going on the export market. You being like, calling us for an AGM because of the profits you've made, or that creating employment to so many guys as well. So kudos and keep going, man.
Yeah, I'd love to, and also I want to say thank you for this platform and what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing I was telling you, as I mentioned before, in terms of having an open mind with things that are disruptive. You know, and I truly admire what you're doing and giving people a voice and a platform to share and to educate.
Yeah.
So all in all, thank you, and I really admire what you're doing.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're the hero here. But anyway, guys,
you are
that's
the
it.
hero.
That's it right here on B Stocks. We are talking matters handers right here. You can tell I'm sipping. I'm feeling nice. Yeah. Actually, by the way, I must tell you, I thought I would feel like, you know how you just sip wine and you're like, oh, that thing is going down the throat. It's like juice, man. I'll be giving you more feedback. Just keep following up on our pages and I'll update you more. So that's it for B Stocks. See you and bye-bye.